Hi. Hello. Blessings, loved ones. It's June 11th now. It's been since February, really, since I've shared. I was participating online just a bit in March and April when I was the course TA for Marguerite, my Oracle teacher's program she offered, accelerating into 5D consciousness. And outside of participating in the course group for that, I really wasn't using any social media for personal use after that strong message I got during winter about hibernation and needing to disconnect and hibernate for a while. And I still continued to tune into some community offerings, absolute practice, and some voice lessons, and a few other things that were offerings online in community. And then one day, this really magical experience with the birds happened. And I was out here online doing a practice, and a white owl, a ginormous white owl, flew directly above me in a straight line from north to south. And in that same day, later that afternoon, this bald eagle flew around out here, flew around so long I was able to run downstairs and grab my phone and take a video. And yeah, it stayed for a while. And then a couple hours after that, this beautiful red-tailed hawk circled outside of my bedroom window. And so I really tuned in to the messages that I was receiving from our bird ally friends that day. And they, it's like I received a suggestion, some counsel from our bird allies, that all of the wisdom that I'm seeking for guidance at this time in my life all lies within. And that this is a time for me to disconnect from the teachings and offerings and gifts shared by other people right now. And in doing so, I'm getting quiet, disconnected. What it feels like now is that I'm a student, and I've started learning in this mystery school that is put on by the great mystery itself. That might resonate for some people, especially those people that have gone on to create and hold communities or mystery schools. So everything that I'm sharing now, I just want to remind everybody that I'm simply sharing my processes, my perceptions, my opinions, my beliefs, my thoughts. And I'm not making any suggestions to anybody about their own processes, your own processes. I'm just sharing my own, because I've been sharing my processes in my life with so many of you since my mom's diagnosis of cancer in 2007, when I started blogging about just my emotional processes and everything that I was going through throughout her illness and her death and my long grief after. And so this is just a continuation of my sharing. It's not a teaching. It's not a just me sharing myself and my ideas about what's happening in my life with all of you. Thank you for being with me on this journey for so long and still. And I do trust that when I am disconnected and people don't hear from me or see of me or anything for days, weeks, months, however long, that always in your heart you trust and know that our relationship remains the same. Whether you're family or community member or a dear friend, I do so greatly appreciate that nobody ever take it personal when I am in my own quiet space, because it is not ever personal to anyone outside of myself. And it is just me honoring what it is that's best for me at that time. And and I would like to remind those people that have heard from me before that I don't like worry because I feel that it's an emotion that is not beneficial to the person experiencing it or the person that's on the other end. When anytime somebody says like, oh, I was worried about you, we'll say sometimes like, if you could just imagine that every time you worry about me, it's like you're throwing a dart at me. Like, would you, because energy follows our thoughts, and whether we speak them out loud or they're just silent within us, our thoughts do create energy patterns, frequencies, vibrations. And so I would prefer if nobody ever have a worry, and to always trust that even if I'm silent or absent from you don't see me or hear from me for quite some time, to know that I am absolutely doing all of the things to give myself the very best self-care. And that for me personally, sometimes these chosen isolation phases, cycles that I go through feel really good. It seems that in this most recent time of being silent, I've been able to shed a lot of the influences and beliefs of just my parents and family and society that I've carried for so long that aren't my truth, to get to this place where I'm fully embracing the reality that I have manifested, and knowing that it's right for me, even though it's very different than what other people believe is right for them. And this stage has been really important for me because I can only serve my purpose and do what I'm here to do in this place of being free from wearing all these patterns that aren't mine and true to my truth. So yeah, It's been a journey, and it's not to say that it's not without some chaos and hard times, but all of the challenges and chaos that I encounter in my life now are not related to societal issues that are going on. They're expressions of the things inside of me that come up, like in my gardening, just in my own personal environment. And it's not that different than what, you know, humanity is experiencing out there, but in this way, in living in this way, not tuned into anything that's happening outside in society right now, I'm very clear that all the things that do come up and challenges and stuff are mine and of me and for me to work with. And this way I'm not being distracted by other issues that aren't of my concern. And yeah, it's just been necessary for me to have this clear space. And while community is very important, I am in a cycle right now that is asking me to be in this state of solitude. Although I'm not alone, you know, I'm still with my best friend and partner and Mia Moore, and so I'm not alone. And of course, in his line of work, you know, in that fashion, he is a community leader, and he has built community around him because of his work. So I still do have like a nurturing, mothering role, you could say, but I am isolated in the way that I don't know what the social issues that are happening in the world are right now. And that is with purpose. Because as I said, I'm enrolled, I'm a student of this mystery school. And all of my guides and teachers are of nature and spirit right now. So for me to be able to receive the lessons, the wisdom, the teachings, I have to be quiet and still, so that when a squirrel stops and talks to me for 10 minutes, I understand what the squirrel's saying. So that when the birds, the vultures that fly above me every day come with lessons about transformation, with messages from my ancestors, it's important to me right now that I'm quiet and clear, so that I can hear, receive, see, intuit what's being shared with me. In my dream time, in my waking hours, some days I feel overwhelmed, like very overwhelmed, and not a negative overwhelmed, just sometimes I have these overwhelming moments of, wow, oh my goodness, how magical and incredible, and oh wow, that's too much, whoa. An example would be, you know, something that I experienced in the Amazon jungle in Peru in 2017, working with Belmira, who's not in her physical with us anymore. I was in a medicine journey and receiving, and I didn't understand what I was receiving, except something was telling me it was ancient knowledge. And then I would be humbled with this message of always remember where it comes from. always remember where all of this comes from. Remember the source. Always be humble. And anyway, it was an incredible experience that I can't say made any sense to me at the time. And I've had these moments recently in between these two eclipses that we just experienced, the lunar eclipse, and then a day or so ago the solar eclipse. I've had these moments where I have these I can describe it as light, like allowing light to come in, that is a receiving, that I'm receiving some of what was shared with me then. It's incredible. So as I said, sometimes lately I feel overwhelmed in a good way, but overwhelmed meaning like just a little out of my comfort. And what I understand so far of all this is that I'm being supported right now in the cultivation of my personal sorcery, my personal magic. And while I have not been sharing myself online with people recently, I've been so busy collecting seeds, and from things that I grew from seed last year, I allowed them to grow and flower. So I've collected seeds from like green onions and arugula and kale, and as I shared last year, each seed that I planted at that time, I planted with a prayer. I shared some saliva, my DNA, and I said a prayer with every single seed that I planted, that I was planting more love for earth, more love for all of life, and that every living being, every living creature that experienced what I was co-creating with earth and all of earth's elements and the sun, and that everything that would grow from these seeds, that anyone who experienced them through like taste or smell or visualization, any way that somebody experienced what was grown, that they would receive just a blast of unconditional love and support in that moment to receive what it is they determine they need the most in that moment. So I've made these intentions, and then in collecting the seeds now in the last couple months and harvesting them, I've been harvesting them on auspicious days, with the moon cycles, and then I dry them, and I set more intention. You could say I'm practicing my alchemical magic and encoding in every seed more love, so that I am manifesting more and more love to be shared freely with all who experience the life from these seeds. So I've created some tinctures, and life's been so magical that the health issues that I was experiencing a couple months ago, nature provided medicine growing here on the land that all aids in the issues that I was having, like with my heavy menstrual flow. And yarrow is growing in abundance here. Mugwort is growing right down at the creek. Stinging nettle is growing abundantly. And so again, I've been harvesting these medicines that Mother Earth is providing abundantly, and again practicing using my alchemical magic through intention and prayer, and so forth, and creating tinctures and dried flowers and leaves and such for teas and all this. So yeah, so I've been busy, and some of the things that help me to move away from habits like being online every day and into expressing and working creatively in the way that I am now is to ask myself questions every day. Questions like, am I spending an equal amount of time focusing on my care, my well-being, that I am giving to others? And since I'm not, like, participating in communities and out, in the communities here with people at this time, for me, others can be like plants or animals. So when I ask myself this question, like, for me, it might not be like, am I spending an equal amount of time in self-care than I am on social media? But it's like, am I caring for myself as much as I'm caring for my garden and all the plants and flowers I've planted? In the morning, sometimes I have to ask myself, wait a minute. Here you are, washing and refilling 6 hummingbird feeders. Have you allowed yourself to drink your first quart of lemon water to hydrate since you woke up? Like, I have to ask myself that. Why am I treating nature like it's more worthy of my energy than I am worthy of my own energy? Right? Because nature has a way of taking care of itself. So why would I give them water to drink before I've given myself water to drink? And I have to stop myself some mornings and ask these questions, because I will immediately see a need. Oh, this needs me. Oh, this needs me. And that's a pattern that I and most other people, I think, have grown up with, is like this, it's like we're taught to recognize the needs in others and to want to help them before we help ourselves. And so what I wish to be is a living example of how much we actually impact positively all the life around us when we keep pausing and bringing it back to ourselves. And that really does take letting go of patterns that we've picked up from our parents and our teachers, our schools, our churches, just and asking questions of ourselves, all the time. Yeah. Because I can easily get wrapped up in skipping breakfast and getting right out into the garden, Oh, it's gonna be a hot day. I want to get out there and do everything before 10:30, and I'll just. But is it fair to me to not nourish my body in the way that it's asking me to go tend to something outside of myself first? No. So, yeah. And what I know is that from the time that I've spent in, learning from these amazing teachers in my life, like, not only teachers like Marguerite and her Seven Sisters Mystery School, and Puma Freddy from Haru and Nikki Scully, and I mean, I've had some incredible teachers that have taught me so much through their mystery school teachings, but also just what I've learned from the children and the elders in my life, my grandmother, my mom, nieces, nephews, and yeah, and so now I've got all these tools within me, right, from all these different programs and retreats and things I've attended. So the message that I get very clearly in this mystery school of the great mystery, without any formal teachers, is that it's not necessary for me at this time to need to practice what I know with others. That I will be my healthiest and most in balance physically, spiritually, emotionally, if I simply use the tools I have all throughout my day and night as it feels right to do so. Doing a little qigong in the morning as I, put some sesame oil on my skin and let that soak in before I hop in the shower. I do a little, qigong and some tapping on my body, as my friend Tracy had, taught in her qigong classes. And when I'm out in the garden, I take moments and stop and I just dance. I dance with the birds and I dance around the plants, and I take moments of stretching and some forward bends, some back bends. I practice my yoga. I sing every day. I sing while I do the dishes. I sing while I'm in the garden. I'm just using all of the tools that have been shared with me, knowing that I am empowered to be able to use these tools without needing to check in every day with others for the support. And there are times in our lives, as we go through different cycles and phases, that we might need that support. And for sure, I've been there, right? So I'm so thankful to all the communities and all the loved ones who've always supported me in my time of need. But right now, it's just, I'm in a different cycle and a different phase. And so I'm being asked to use what I know, but to just be me and do as it feels good to me each day. To rest when I'm tired, to create when my juices are flowing with creativity, and just to love myself and to honor myself, to see and treat myself as the temple that I am, and that in healing myself and doing all these wonderful things for myself, that I am in this way contributing to the healing of all. And so I'm sharing with the belief that we can all benefit from a little bit of silence, quiet space, to get to know our own true self. And that in sharing my process, that I have in fact shared a little bit of the peace and love and gratitude that is within me, outside of me, with each and every person who tunes into this message. May we all be inspired, empowered, to express our true selves out in the world. To honor that we are all connected, that we all come from the same source, and in this way that we are all connected. And at the same time, to honor our unique individuality and to share our beauty from within outside in the world. Well, this has gotten long now, so I'll leave you for now. And it might be some months before we connect again, but please remember that I am always with you. You can at any time telepathically send me a hug, a hello, and I love you, and I receive it. Thank you for being a part of my journey, my healing, for always supporting me and offering your acceptance of who I am, no matter how different I may seem. I'm grateful to all of you. Blessed be. I love you.